Hello all and welcome. And I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Den, where we get down to the raw, real, nitty-gritty aspects of reality when discussing political and social goings-on of the current day. And in this video, I would like to comment on this FSU student who was arrested for not just incivility, assault on some GOP students who were campaigning for the GOP candidate in Florida. Yes, that's such an evil act. Don't say anything nice about a Republican. Republicans are all horrible, evil Nazis. And of course, if you say anything bad about the left and what they've done to those people, well, those actions are totally acceptable because, you know, you'll do any and everything to stop Nazis, right? And it's 100% acceptable. Pour milk, whack them over the head with bike locks, doesn't matter. They're subhuman, they're evil, they need to be stamped out like cockroaches, don't you know? And even cockroaches are better than Nazis because at least cockroaches serve some kind of purpose, right? But Nazis don't. So you need to stamp them out, stamp them out, stamp them out, yeah? And you can't call us on that because that's what you do to Nazis and it's perfectly acceptable. So this broad who poured chocolate milk on these people, the reason I wanted to talk about this mainly, besides the fact that, you know, she's clearly emblematic of the typical leftist, is because of the disconnect she's got going on in her head in regards to the ideology that she follows and the beliefs that she purports to have. They're very much at odds with one another, right? Because, you know, she claims to be a communist. Communism killed 200 million people in the 20th century, the most horrible, evil ideology that could ever possibly exist, or it certainly is the most horrible evil that has existed up until now. But she's anti-Nazi, right? How many did that kill? Right, 60 million, maybe? It's no contest. Nazism is responsible for far fewer deaths. And by the way, many of those deaths can be attributed to the Japanese. So, you know, and the Italians, don't forget, the Italians were part of that axis of evil there as well. And that was socialism, by the way. And that's another thing people fail to understand, is that she identifies Nazis as some kind of evil force that's responsible for 60 million deaths, but that's also socialism, right? That's also socialism. She doesn't understand that the big part of the National Socialists, which she objects to, she calls them Nazis, they point out the fact that, hey, the Nazis were socialists, and she's like, oh, that's not the most important part. They were really nationalists. The socialism, that was secondary and not very important. No, that's actually the most important part. You see, what people don't understand is that socialists, they collectivize around something, okay? Now, the Nazis, they collectivize around the idea of the nation state, okay? You see, you need something to collectivize around, but it's the collectivization that's the most important part, okay? What they're collectivizing around is secondary and nothing more than a focal tool for them to collectivize around. So it's the collectivization that creates and causes the evil outcomes, okay? Not whatever it is they're focusing around, okay? So nationalism is not the problem. It's the socialism part that's the problem. But of course, she's got no problem with the socialism part, as you can see by her little communista badge there, but she's got a real problem with nationalism, right? And of course she does. She's been told to have that kind of problem because she's an ideologue, right? She can't think for herself. Ideologies take the place of thinking. It's a framework of ideas and beliefs that, I have ready-made answers popped in my head. She's essentially nothing more than an NPC. She's been programmed. She doesn't think for herself. She's been told, she's been taught in a particular way to believe this particular set of ideas, and I don't need to question or think about them at all. It's a very easy way to go through life, having an ideology take the place of your thinking. You can't think for yourself, but hey, it's easy, right? Anyhow, let's get to the story, shall we? So, FSU student arrested for allegedly pouring chocolate milk on GOP volunteer. She got arrested. Thank God. Maybe this heralds things to come. Maybe more lefties are going to have consequences for their actions. I doubt it, but you never know. So police arrested a 19-year-old Florida State University student Thursday for allegedly pouring chocolate milk on a Republican volunteer at a table on campus. All right, let's press the play button, all right? Let's see how long I can watch this before I get so enraged that I have to turn it off. Okay, there she is talking.
Communism?
Yeah, I fucking am.
They killed way more people.
Don't pour your coffee on me.
Okay, so he's like, asked her, are you a communist? Do you approve of communism? And she says, yes, I am. I'm a communist. She says it proudly. Oh, my God. What education education is she getting? Jesus.
Fuck you, I will.
Then
Fuck
Nazis?
Whoa!
What
Do
is
you
wrong with
understand that fascism is here?
What is wrong
Y'all
with
understand
you?
that Nazis are
What
fucking
is wrong
here?
with you,
A
woman?
fucking Nazi was...
See, essentially, Jesus pours milk on him. Doesn't matter. I'm allowed to do that because you are part of a movement, at least I've been taught that is evil. And it's not important that I poured milk on you, okay? That doesn't matter. You're evil. I get to pour milk on you.
What is
elected
wrong
in
with
Brazil.
you? You're pouring coffee on strangers.
chocolate
You have
milk.
to ask yourself.
Oh, it's chocolate milk. It's perfectly okay then. It's just chocolate milk. And if I spit on you, it's just spit. What do you care?
What the hell is wrong with
Nazis are fucking shooting
You're
my people.
throwing-
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Nazis. One wackadoo went into a church and shot some people, some Jews. I guess she's Jewish. Big shocker there. The majority of Jews are leftist liberals. Big surprise. Oh, yeah, some wacko shot my people. Yeah. It's very interesting how one guy, if he's a righty, does something wacko, and he's part of the conservative movement. He's representative of Trump and all conservatives, but when some lefty nutjob does something wrong, they're just some wacko anonymous nutter that's not connected to anybody. Like the Democratic Party, for example, is running around telling people to assault Trump supporters or Republicans if you see them in public. Oh, yeah. So righty, member of a giant collective Nazi party and represents them all and all their views. That person is representative of an entire group, right? Wacko, nutty, leftist does something. That's just some anonymous individual nutter. Okay, let's continue.
milk at people.
Nazis are shooting my people.
right,
I don't
I
give a
gotta
damn.
Nazis are socialists, by the way.
Nazis are not fucking socialists, you dumbass. Pick up history class, you piece of shit.
National Socialism.
National Socialists.
She doesn't know history. She's like, no, Nazis were not socialists. She's an idiot. Of course, she doesn't understand that Hitler did take over the ways and means of production in his country. And people say, oh, but he left industry in the hands of their private owners. No, not really. He still controlled the ways and means of production through them, okay? Yeah, it was more expeditious, more convenient, more efficient for him to do that, but he still controlled the ways and the means. The communists and the Nazis, they're both socialists. She doesn't understand that. She doesn't know that. She's been taught that, no, they're not the same at all. There's a difference between Nazis, they're nationalists. Yeah, they're collectivized around the idea of the nation state instead of the idea of race or gender or sexual identity. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. You're all a bunch of tyrants. You all want to have tyrannical power over everybody else.
What's the actual name of the...
The National Socialists. Oh my god, as if I don't know this is a fucking
When she
history
starts
major.
mocking you, that's when there's no argument left.
Why is she still there, right? Am I the only one that thinks this is all about power and control? Am I the only one that thinks that? Am I the only one that thinks that these people want to use these types of identity politics to control other people? The tyranny of the minority. I mean, look at her. She won't leave. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to throw milk on you. And I'm going to do whatever I want because you can't tell me what to do. And I feel so powerful. I feel so empowered now.
My god. Why do y'all always focus on the socialist part of that instead of the...
Yeah, why would you? That's so inconvenient. Don't do that. I like the socialist part. Don't point out the fact that they were socialists. That was just part of the name. They weren't socialists. Socialist, it was just a word, right? It didn't mean anything. Words don't mean anything unless I say them, right? The only time words have meaning is when I say them and when leftists say them and use them in the correct way. Hitler, he just used the socialist part like to say, oh, we're all social, we're all friendly with each other. Yeah, well, it didn't have anything to do with socialism.
nationalist part of that. Why don't you realize that there were fucking KPD, Communist Party, fucking Socialist Party in the German parliament at the same time? Goddamn idiots.
Honey, let me explain something to you, okay? It wasn't the nationalist part that caused the problems, okay? Caring about your country, being loyal to your traditions, being loyal to your country, that's not a problem, okay? All right, the part that's the problem is the socialism part. When you mix the two together, that's when you get a problem, okay? You need the socialist part mixed with the nationalist part. That's what created the issue, okay? That was the formula for disaster, all right? She doesn't understand that. She don't get it. It's not the same thing. Nationalism and socialism, they're separate. I just love how she tries to essentially remove the socialist part, and that's not even there. They were just nationalists. There was no socialism. No socialism at all.
In fact, I can, because I have class to go to, but I hope you all realize that you are normalizing and enabling Nazis.
Right. No evidence, no proof that they're Nazis, right? Show me the ovens where they cooked up a bunch of Jews and put a bunch of gypsies in concentration camps and executed retarded people. Okay, show me that. Show me the baby farms where they are having blonde-haired, blue-eyed women pop out babies, okay, for the eugenics program. Huh? Show me that. Show me where they're experimenting, human experimenting. Huh? Chopping off heads and experimenting on corpses and experimenting on live people. Show me! That's what Nazis do.
And you can film me. I don't give a shit. Listen here. 11 of my people are fucking dead this weekend.
And as you can tell, she's an identitarian. Your people. Yeah, Jews. Yeah. Okay, honey.
2 black people are dead in Kentucky.
Yeah.
These are fucking nationalist murderers.
Nationalist murderers, right? Notice how notice how it's very easy and convenient for her, though, to ignore the socialist part. Why are you focusing on the socialist part? Focus on the nationalism part. Meanwhile, she's doing the same thing. She's ignoring the socialist part and focusing only on the nationalist part. Whatever fits her narrative, right?
That this normalizes. Do you really care?
Yeah.
Do you?
Do you? Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How childish! Oh my God. Yeah. So, the victim, identified as FSU College of Republicans Vice Membership Chair Daisy Judge, told police Shoup poured chocolate milk on her while she was tabling for the college Republican group in 2 separate instances. Twice! Great. Witness told officers Tuesday afternoon that he began filming the incident after Shoup poured the chocolate milk on her victim a second time. So we missed the first time. Jesus. Florida State Police, University Police issued a warrant for Shoup's arrest on Thursday, and she turned herself in later that afternoon. Authorities took Shoup to Leon County Jail, where she was charged with battery. She spent the night in jail and was released the next day. Good. Good. Of course, she'll get a slap on the wrist, obviously. And I hope this sends a message to her not to pour milk on people in the future. Even if they're Nazis, it's still illegal. But they're not Nazis, obviously. She's scheduled to appear in court again November 28th for a case management hearing. Slap on the wrist. Slap on the wrist. Shows Shoup stated on her LinkedIn page that she's an intern for Gilliam's gubernatorial campaign, although campaign spokesperson Geoff Bergen said he can't comment on whether she officially served as an intern. Throwing her under the bus. It's a little inconvenient for us to be connected so close to the elections to this wackadoo young girl. Yeah. The FSU College Republicans released a statement Thursday denouncing the extremely charged political environment that caused Tuesday's incident. Of course, this politically charged environment is directly created by universities and their mostly Marxist, communist, leftist professors. The latest ordeal, which hits home for many of us on the executive board, is alarming. Yeah, it's an alarming display of extremely charged political environment that has arisen in recent months and years. The FSU College Republicans said in a statement, "No person, regardless of where they fall in the political spectrum, should be targeted and assaulted because of their political beliefs." I agree with you. And fortunately for those of you on the left, you don't really have to worry about conservatives, reasonable, logical, rational people whacking you on the head with bike locks or pouring chocolate milk on you, because we don't do that, right? But if somebody assaults you, I absolutely encourage you to defend yourself. What this girl did, Waymans are equal, right? Waymans are equal. And if she had been a man and done that, what do you think would have happened? Pow! Right to the kisser. So, yes, if some leftist nut job assaults you, defend yourself. Defend yourself. Don't just stand there and allow it. Don't take the quote-unquote higher ground, which is really just chickening out and letting people beat on you and turning the other cheek. Oh, I turn the other cheek. It's an excuse for me to be a coward. Don't be a coward. If somebody attacks you, defend yourself. Anyhow, I am the realist philosopher, and this is a little red pill for today, and there will be many in the future. I wish you well, and take care.